Hey guys, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I revise maths. So maths is a subject that I revise the most. I do a lot of after school things of maths as well because it's my weaker subject. In maths my target is a 4 I think, or maybe a 5, probably not. And in my first set of mocks I got a 2. In my second set I got a 3. And I'm hoping that in this third set I will get a 4 and hopefully keep that 4 for the main thing so I pass. But I've got a lot of revision materials that I've done for maths. So as you can see, I've got all of these guides. I've got a massive revision card pack. I've also got a whole folder full of maths. So I'm just going to be running you through how I revise maths and how I've been making my grade higher and higher as I go along. Now I know you're probably thinking you don't want to take tips off me because my grade's really low, but I'm just naturally not that good at maths. I'm way better at English, so I'm just naturally like a more English type of person, so that makes maths kind of hard for me. But I think using all of these techniques I've used has really helped and helped me regain and remember information. So first I'm going to be talking through how I use this. So this is a set of revision cards. These are from the range, but you can get them from Wilko's, WH Smith, anywhere that really sells revision materials. And I'm sure if you ask one of your teachers at your school, they will probably have a few of these cards and you can just take them home and use them. Now what I use this for is every time after my lesson, when I have the time to, I will write up all my lesson notes. So you can either take your book home or ask to take a photo of your book, so you can just write them up at home in a condensed form. So then on your exam or just anywhere that you want to revise, you can just take this whole thing with you and you can just flick through and you will know what you're doing. So in this I just have a bunch of condensed notes. So at the start of the year I started kind of doing this-ish. So we started off with trapezium, so I've just got how to find the area. This is kind of a small kind of topic because it's just how to find the area and that's about it. And then I did 3 questions, and then on the back I did the answers and how I found them. But I did not do questions for all of these. At the start I started to do a lot of questions for them, but I ended up not doing that because I thought that it was kind of easier to just have the information, especially when there was a lot of information. I also separate the different topics with a different colour of highlighter, and I think that works quite well, so I know which topic is which. I've just got a whole bunch of this. Now recently I have not been keeping up to date with this, but we haven't been doing too much in lesson 2 that I should write up, just more practice of things that I've already done. But as I said, on the day you can just take this in and you can just quickly scan through all the stuff that you don't know properly and just you know what you're doing after that. So I highly recommend this if you want to just take this in on the exam. It can just be an extra handy thing, and I think it helps regain the information for the next time you're doing maths. And you can just look through this when you're trying past paper questions, and you can just look through and quickly have a look. So yeah, that's the revision cards. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is revision guides. Now for my maths at my school I do edexcel, which I think is the most popular maths kind of exam board apart from maybe AQA. So I've got a whole bunch of these books. Now originally I bought this one I think myself, and it's the whole thing. I do foundation obviously, and it's got all the topics in here, but in the back it's also got exam questions and also past papers. So I use this one the most just because it has everything in it, so I can just do it. Now this is the first page of one of the exam past papers, and I have actually drawn in it because I think that for a maths thing you want to draw on some of the questions, make notes and everything. So I've done it in pencil, so if you want to sell this on or give it to someone, they can just rub it out or you can rub it out for them. And so I think it's just better if you do it in pencil, or you can just do it on a separate piece of paper, or if you really don't care you can do it in pen. So that's what I do for this, and I'll just go through it every so often. I don't think I've actually finished this one yet because I do a lot of other past papers, but I'll talk about that later. Now I think these 3 I got from school, or maybe these 2, I'm not sure, but this one here This is just a bunch of questions. This is an exam book and it's literally full of questions, not information but questions. Yes, I just said questions so many times. This one is actually a higher level. I feel like I actually have a foundation one, I'm not too sure though. So I'm not sure if I use this, but again I would just use pencil in one of these type of books. And yeah, that's this. This is a higher, this is a foundation, so I did not buy this, but my parents bought it for me because they didn't know what I had already. So I don't use this one because I don't do higher, so I don't need to use this one. But it's also good to kind of know some higher questions, so then the foundation questions will be easier. But this one is literally just the same as that book there with a bit of this book inside of it. So whatever you want to use, you can. I recommend probably getting one of these and one of those, but then you may as well get these two because I think getting this one, it has more questions in than that one does. So it just depends on what you want, but I think you could just easily print off questions as well. Now this is my folder. It's from Wilko's and it was literally like a £1.50 or something. They have a lot of cheap stationery there, so I definitely recommend it. Now this is just a thing from school, so I'm not going to show that, but in my folder I have it all sectioned off into the different maths topics. At the very back of this folder I have a bunch of English stuff, so I'm not going to go through that. But I have these topic dividers and I made this little sheet of paper that has all the different topics on, so when I've done it I can tick it off. Although I don't really use this anymore because I use my revision cards more because I think they'll be more helpful than note forms. But I used to do a lot of notes, so I always used to do the notes and put it in here. So this is an example of what I used to do my notes like. I don't do notes anymore because I think I don't really gain information from them. But it's just a bunch of notes in each topic. I don't know what the highlighting is, it's really ugly and I hate these, but I just have one for each one. I don't think I've drawn these for every single one because I was too lazy for that, but you can use this and do your own like version of it. Like you can do revision cards for each one of these. You don't have to use it in note form, or if note form works you can also do that. Now in the very back of my math section I have a massive folder for my past papers. This is an example of one I did literally ages ago, and this is just one that I do in school. So if your schools don't do a exam paper like every week or so, you should definitely get them and do them at home because I think it's really useful and I think it's definitely the best way of revising because then you get to know the questions, especially in maths and maybe science. You get to know the questions. Like I really recommend doing past papers the most out of everything. It also tells you what you need to improve on because if you don't know something in this, then you're not going to know in the real thing. So you need to improve on that. If you're not good at problem solving like me, I really think you should do these because I genuinely think it will help anyone. But you should do at least one a week. I do 2 a week most of the time because I do after school maths and I do it during school as well. So I just recommend getting these and marking them with your teacher so this is just something I really recommend. I've got a bunch in here, like there's so many that I've done, and yeah. Another technique I use is at my school we do this thing where we have like a maths book and we take it home every so often and we do questions. Now, I use Maths Watch for this mainly. People use other things, but we get a list of topics that we need to work on that we didn't do so well in mocks and everything, and we just search up videos on Maths Watch. And I recommend Maths Watch, but I think you have to have like a school account for that, so if not you can use anything else. I would just say search up the topics in these books or anything and just search up on the internet, a YouTube video even, and write down in like a little notebook. So it's basically in note form, like in my folder note form, but in a book. And if you don't know the topic, just do that. I don't think it really stays in my memory that much, but it does help with a lot of the questions, especially if you use Maths Watch. A lot of other useful things to do is to make Quizlet cards to remember the formulas. Now a lot of my friends have done this. They've used revision cards like these ones and they've just written down all the formulas and then on the back it says what it says. So for example, triangle would be triangle and then you flip over and it says base times height divided by 2. And I'm sure that there's a list somewhere out there of all the topics you need to know for your exam board. Another thing people like, but I don't really use that much, I've used it before but not much, is Seneca Learning. Now, I don't use this that much as I want to, as I just said there, but it's just an online free website. You don't need a school account or anything, and you can just use it, and it's just a bunch of all the maths topics, and you can just find your one and do all the questions for it, and then you'll just know that topic. It's so much better than like something your school would get. It's for free and you don't need a school account for it. You don't need to do anything with your school. It says to type in your school, you don't have to. Yeah, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and yeah, bye.